Go to Ryan. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We will move into our consensus agenda.
Okay, I move we approve the vouchers for the last month. They total $1,282,910.78. That's 2 payrolls and 2 payable funds. Also, I move we approve the minutes from our last meeting.
First, the move by Steve, second by Kevin. Any discussion? All in favor? Motion passes 5-0. Patrons' comments. Are there any patrons' comments this evening?
Y'all came to the last
Do
meeting.
you have a comment or you're just saying hi?
Did you all know your patrons? Yes, so.
Are you awake?
We thank you for coming to the last meeting of the year for your government class. All right, moving on to personnel.
We had to do superintendent's contract.
Oh, yes, sorry. Can I have a motion to open the public hearing for the superintendent's contract?
I move we open that.
Second that.
The move by Ken, seconded by Wes. All in favor? Anyone here to speak on the superintendent contract? If not, motion to close.
I'll move that we close that.
Second.
The move by Wes, seconded by Steve. All in favor? Okay. Any discussion on the superintendent's contract? No?
Signed quickly.
Walking in.
Tom, I'm right that we need a motion to approve the contract?
Yes.
I move we approve the superintendent's contract as presented to us.
Second.
The move by Steve, second by Kevin. Any discussion? All in favor? Motion passes 5-0. And we thank you, Mr. Riffle, for being our fearless leader here at
Thank you for
Triton.
your confidence.
All right, we move on to personnel.
All right, I'd like to recommend the approval of Gretchen Redinger as an FFA volunteer and activity bus driver.
The move by Kevin, seconded by Steve. Any discussion? Are you gonna?
Can I vote for that since she's not paid? I'll just leave my hand down then.
Any other discussion? All in favor? Motion passes 4-0-1.
Can I vote against?
You can, but you're going home tonight. All right.
Oh, we good on that? Okay. I'm not trying to get in the middle of that one. I'd like to recommend the approval of Mrs. Lisa Hammond and Mrs. Lena Hostrauser as elementary student council sponsors.
So moved.
Previously, this was one position that was split because of the time and effort they've given and/or carrying a lot of that load. They both will receive full position pay on that, and that in our contract allows for that. It just shows that it doesn't say it's only for one position. So.
Okay, I had a motion from Kevin. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
The move by Ken. Any discussion? All in favor? Motion passes 5-0.
The next 3 items deal with supervisors, so I'd like to recommend the approval of Kim Stetzel as the boys varsity wrestling supervisor, Jason Groves as the girls varsity basketball supervisor, and Ashley Dahl as the junior high boys basketball supervisor.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved by Steve, seconded by Ken. Any discussion? All in favor? Motion passes 5-0.
I'd like to recommend the approval of Bart Christian as the 5th grade girls basketball coach. Currently, he does the 5th grade boys right now, but he is taking on the task of the girls program as well.
Move we approve that.
Second.
Moved by Ken, seconded by Kevin. Any discussion? All in favor? Motion passes 5-0.
And I'd like to recommend the approval of Lily Stetzel as a volunteer cheer coach. Obviously, she's attending Bethel and cheering there, but for the holidays, if she joins her mother and the team, we just want to make sure we approve that.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Steve, seconded by Wes. Any discussion? All in favor? Motion passes 5-0.
Recommend the approval of Mrs. Amy Blue as an extended school year service teacher. We have a young lady who has been through some surgeries and is in need of just extra tutoring and help, making sure she's getting the things that she needs. So Mrs. Blue has done this in the past and has agreed to do that in the future with the extended year service.
I move we approve that contract.
Second.
Been moved by Steve, second by Kevin. Any discussion? All in favor? Motion passes 5-0.
The next two items, classified staff, I recommend the approval of Robin Creekbaum as a high school cafeteria worker, and Sarah Kaufman is coming back to replace Ms. Klotz as an elementary cafeteria worker.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved by Kevin, seconded by Ken. Any discussion? All in favor? Motion passes 5-0.
And last but not least, I'd like to recommend the approval of the Teacher Appreciation Grant Distribution and Supplemental Stipend. As you're probably well aware, teachers have to be, effective and highly effective if they're going to receive the stipend from the State Department of Ed for the Teacher Appreciation Grant. We would also recommend with that, as a thanks to our staff for the time and effort that they give, that a lot of the other staff will be compensated as well. So it just simply allows us to give them a live check, say thank you for their efforts. That would also include all others receiving, if they're not a certified teacher, at least $100, depending on like how much they work and so on. So
And that's for support?
all certified staff and support staff and cafeteria, the entire corporation will receive some form of thank you.
I can't.
I'll move we approve that.
Second.
Been moved by Wes, seconded by Kevin, yes. Any other discussion? All in favor? Motion passes 4-0-1. Other business.
All right, I'd like to recommend the approval of the 2025-26 calendar. That is in front of you. If there are any questions, I'll be glad to take that. Just a couple of items, maybe how this looks a little bit different than this year's calendar. You're going to notice on the 16th that has a blue diamond over it. If you looked at last year's calendar, or this year's, excuse me, the teachers are going to be coming back on that Friday at the end of Christmas break. So instead of coming back on that Friday at the end of Christmas break, we're actually going to move our professional development to the President's Day. You have the right one? Okay, I just wanted to make sure because I have the old one. But so you see the February 16th date, right? That will now be the professional development day when we come back. You'll notice it's red, but also the fact is that it may be a possible makeup day, right? So that will likely be a digital learning day if we need it at that time. So it's still going to be a makeup day. It's going to be our teacher professional development day. And with that change, it really allows 2 full weeks at Christmas break, right? And not coming back on that Friday, but then just moves our professional development day. Sometimes it's difficult, right? Coming back on a Friday from Christmas break, having professional development that day, and then kids coming, obviously, that next week. So we did change that a little bit. It doesn't change the number of days. You'll see the consistency with teachers coming back on the 4th of August, right? A day in between to gather their thoughts, continue to prepare for the first day of students coming on August 6th. But as far as the breaks, the length of breaks, all of that stays the same. October 9th, Mr. Miller asked about that as well. That is actually Parent-Teacher Conference Day. If you'll notice, it follows October 3rd, which is when report cards are sent home. That's the end of the grading period. So it allows for parent-teacher conferences to follow that and discuss grades and what needs to happen moving forward. We put it more towards the middle of the week just simply so it doesn't extend the break even further. But both the elementary and the high school the last couple years have had parent-teacher conferences, and as you know, those are pretty well attended. So that is what the 9th is parent-teacher conferences.
See a note on Also, the board meeting will be moved to first Monday.
That's a good call.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because of fall break.
Which
Yeah.
one is that one?
October 6th,
Ah,
Yes.
to stay away from the fall break. That's a good call. That's what we did, I believe,
it's working.
this year as well.
Yeah. Yes. Okay.
Obviously, just like we always do, that's been discussed since probably September with the association, kind of a back and forth of how can we make that the best calendar possible for everybody involved, and that's kind of where we landed. So there was a little bit of give and take as far as that last day of Christmas break. That's really where the conversation surrounded.
I move we approve the calendar as presented to us this evening.
Second.
Moved by Steve, seconded by Wes. Any other discussion? All in favor? Motion passes 5-0.
I'd like to recommend the approval of the transportation for Napatee Missionary Church students to summer camp. We've done this the last few years. They really appreciate our corporation doing that. Our bus drivers actually have really enjoyed that. They get a day away, usually at Cedar Point or with their family, that type of thing. But I would recommend that we continue to do that.
It's been moved by Kevin, seconded by Ken. Any discussion? All in favor? Motion passes 5-0.
I recommend the approval of purchasing a 14-passenger activity bus from Curlin Bus Sales. You can see the cost on that, $108,315.
And how soon will that be delivered?
Have we got the
Maybe
other one
a year
yet?
and a half.
How many are we behind?
We are waiting on when we ordered last year,
2023.
about a year ago, and I think Laura said that one's supposed to be in early spring.
That's a full-size bus?
Yes.
Yeah.
Just a minibus.
The minibuses aren't usually that
That's
much of a
bad.
delay. I would guess, but just a guess.
I move we make that purchase.
Second.
Moved by Steve, seconded by Wes. Any other discussion? All in favor? Motion passes 4-0.
The next item, approve the tennis court repair. I'm going to ask that we table that one for right now. There's been a couple other interested parties that maybe are a little bit more reputable when it comes to the actual tennis court painting and repair, so we just want to make sure we give them their rightful ability to bid on that. So we're not changing anything about what we're asking for. It's just a matter of we don't necessarily want to just go the lowest just because it's the lowest and it be a painting company versus an actual court repair company. So we're going to just make sure we're doing the right thing as far as references, getting references for that, and make sure we're secure with that. So I'm going to take that off if you're okay with that and table that till next month.
One court?
So we are wanting to, obviously to, I guess, the investment that we already did on the main courts, right? We just want to make sure we're proactively repairing those as they need it, so it's not big cracks and then now it's ill repair. So actually, we're going to repair the courts that we just did. Those will also be repainted. We will also repair the back courts. Those will be painted the same color, so all of our courts will match. So different companies have different systems that they use as far as a film over top or a crack fill and paint. In the end, we know that the courts that are further away are going to need, I think they were done 5 years after the original ones. We know that they're getting close to their time. We just don't have $100,000 to spend on courts right now that we don't use very often. So we're going to try to limp those along and at least make them playable and or look the same as the other ones, so it's not an eyesore.
You need to make a motion to table that.
Grass court.
Sure.
I move we table that for further information till a later date.
Okay, second.
Moved by Steve, seconded by Ken. All in favor? Motion passes 5-0.
If you've looked in our classrooms, or even if you've looked in our classrooms from the outside, we have some blinds that need are in pretty serious need of just updating and just looking nice. They have the effect of sun, and they're kind of the aluminum shades that tend to bend a little bit, and just it's looking shabby. So that's something that within this bond we said we were going to make sure that we updated that for our teachers and just making that look a little bit nicer and or just, yeah, I guess making it look a little bit nicer. So I'd recommend that we take care of that. That's corporation wide. So that's every classroom, including our cafeteria at the elementary school, updating all of the aluminum blinds with a new up-to-date blind.
I move we approve that.
Second.
Moved by Ken, seconded by Wes. Any discussion? All in favor? Motion passes.
I really like the name of that company,
Yeah,
Blinded by the Light.
blinded by the light. All right.
I'm sure they'll appreciate your encouragement. All right. Continuous improvement. This is the inaugural year or season of our Triton Girls varsity wrestling, where we have 11 young ladies competing. They continue to improve and are really enjoying themselves in this new venture. I do want to thank Coach Jason Arvison for being willing to share his expertise with these young ladies. So that's been a really good thing. If you've seen the posts here lately, we have some young ladies who are, I think second and third last meet. So just doing a really nice job. And honestly, like, I'm really surprised at the team and who went out, but it's pretty awesome to see them involved. Shared leadership. I love the fact that we continue to give spotlights to our internship and college commitments. Kim Stetzel has done an awesome job of consistently posting these, making people aware of the great opportunities that Triton scholars have taken advantage of, and I do want to thank Kim for her consistency in highlighting these students. Our kiddos, whether it be welding, whether it be automotive, whether it be alpha flight, whether it be precision machinery, whether it be building and trades. I may be missing some of those of you that are part of those things in this gallery, but just awesome opportunities for our kids. Social responsibility. I want to thank the Triton Elementary Shining Stars that performed at the Bourbon tree lighting and also performed at the El Farella last week. Thank you to Mrs. Alderfer for supporting the cast for the time and effort put in, and her supporting cast, for the time and effort put into nearly 50 scholars who have chosen to be part of this outstanding group of musicians. So great work. Accountability. I was able to share the incredible progress that some of our fourth graders made on the middle of the year reading assessment. This is not by accident. It takes the school and parents working together to reach these benchmarks. I want to thank Mrs. Shively, Mrs. Shively's class, who excitedly shared this progress, but I also want to thank the time and effort that's put in at home to maximize our students' potential. It truly does take a joint effort to reach school and community goals. High expectations. I want to congratulate Maya Davis for making the 1A, 2A North All-Star team. Over 60 players tried out, and she was one of only 14 that made the squad, so pretty awesome accomplishment. And she also signed her letter of intent to play at Shippensburg University in Pennsylvania. Just yesterday, I believe, Dante Workman accomplished the same when it comes to all-state honors for football, while Jaden Overmeyer achieved Junior Indiana Football Coaches Association all-state honors as a junior. All Hoosier North Conference honors went to Esai Lemler, Jaden Overmeyer, Dante Workman, Vincent Prater, Colton Reynolds, and Wayne Reichert. So congratulations to them. Alignment. The leadership team met a couple weeks ago to finalize the priority list for the 2024 bond. This bond is able to be spent over a 3-year period and will consist of several preventative maintenance measures, completion of some of the projects from the last bond, and some more efficiency improvements. The list of items that include but are not limited to a new roof at the elementary school, tennis court crack fill and paint, as we discussed a little bit tonight, teacher and student devices, new risers for the auditorium, new blinds for both buildings, matching desks and cabinets in the elementary from previous bonds, Wi-Fi upgrades, high school fire suppression system, and other items will continue to be considered as these punch list items get completed. It's our hope to be fiscally responsible, completing items now, but also saving some money back for a rainy day and unexpected costs if necessary. Items completed since last meeting include the elementary gym sound system for convocations. So that is a Sweetwater project that they did an awesome job, and we're going to make some tweaks to that to make sure it fits everybody's needs. The auditorium railing and accepted bids on the hardware replacement for the Performing Arts Center, which is the pulley and the cord upgrades for our curtains, just to make those a little bit easier to move. And then the wellness access, since we met, the wellness room access for all staff has been added as a benefit. So they all have access to that. So they don't have to go get a gym membership. They can come to the school in the safety of our school to work out and get in shape. Evidence-based decision-making, this worked last year and it proven great again this year. Senior Scholarship Boot Camp Day was held on Tuesday, where students are given the opportunity to set aside time during the school day to complete applications with the help of our school counselors and Trinity Robinson from the Marsh County Community Foundation. This is year 2 for this outstanding opportunity, and we are happy to say there were a lot of applications completed. I do want to remind parents as it relates to college applications and the FAFSA. We did have to cancel the first FAFSA night, but that has been rescheduled for January 13th at 6 p.m. in the library. So if you have any questions about that, this has been posted and has been shared with families, but you can reach out to Mrs. Arvison or Mrs. Faulkner in our guidance department to talk a little bit about that if you need assistance with your FAFSA. Also in front of you is just a letter from Mrs. Haynes, and I'll just read that out loud just to thank Mr. McKinn and Mr. Yarbrough. So Mrs. Haynes is not able to join us tonight due to some sickness going on in the house. But she said, I'd like to take a moment to express my heartfelt gratitude to Nate and Rick for their invaluable support and guidance during my internship this fall semester. Their dedication and commitment have made a profound impact on my learning experience. Throughout the semester, I've had the privilege of witnessing firsthand what it takes to be an effective administrator. Despite their constant busyness and demanding schedules, Nate and Rick consistently made time to mentor me, answer my questions, and provide opportunities for growth. Thanks to their support, I've gained practical insights and deeper understanding of the complexities of educational leadership. I'm excited to carry forward the lessons I've learned during this internship, and as I continue to grow professionally. Thank you again, Nate and Rick, for your generosity with your time and expertise. Your efforts have truly inspired me, and I'm grateful for the opportunity to learn from such experienced and dedicated administrators. So that's from Mrs. Haynes, who completed her administrative internship at the elementary last summer, and then this first semester at the high school for her degree. That's all I have. I'll be more than happy to take any questions.
We will move on to patrons' comments again. Anyone have a comment? All right, building reports. Whoever wants to go first, from whatever Mr. Riffle hasn't already stolen from your.
Okay. We are in the middle of our middle of year testing for all of our students K through 6 with reading proficiencies to see how much we've grown and whether or not we're proficient for this time of year. And we're seeing some really, really good gains. Typical that we see them more so in the first part of the year than the second half, but we still want to strive for every semester, seeing how far we can bring our students. Also, in grades 3 to 6, which are our iLearn grades, they're using the Checkpoint 1 data to provide interventions and then an opportunity to do a second opportunity for Checkpoint 1 to measure our growth and see how we're doing on those skills and standards that maybe we weren't doing as well in. So all of that, really, those opportunity 2s are this week, and we're going to be looking at that data. So teachers are excited to see what the fruits of their labor will be and how far we can bring our students again. I would also like to thank Ms. Aldifer for the many programs that she has put on in November and December, including our first drama production in many years, and that was the Alpharella. That was last week. If you didn't get to see it, it was really a great undertaking, as it was a lot of students that are in Shining Stars this year to help with that. Mrs. Gard and Mrs. Schetzel also volunteered their time to help with that. I think any time that we can. Last year, they did sang for all of our students in December. We just had a program where they did several numbers numbers. And I think that was encouraging to kids when they see other kids and say, well, I think I'd like to do that and try that. And sure enough, this next year we had a lot better response for the Shining Stars as we get that going. So I appreciate all of their work outside of the school day with that. Grade level teams are still working on reviewing materials for reading adoption. This is a big decision for all of us, a lot to go into that. Mr. Miller's on our committee working with that, and we just thank everybody. It's kind of tedious at times. We've narrowed it to 2 choices, had presentations from a number of publishers, and we're getting to the point now where we need to really just try some things out in the classrooms and see how students respond, how we like actually teaching it rather than just looking at it. And we hope to have a decision before March as to what we can settle on. Our data analysis for all of our grades K through 6 will be December 18th and 19th. And then we're going to have a great all-school sing on the 20th, an assembly, try out our new sound system in the gym, and honor some people here from our Shining Stars and send our students off all sugared up onto the buses to go home for a couple weeks for a winter break. That about sums it up.
Okay, for the junior senior high school, on November 21st, we had our CTE fair at Plymouth High School, and that's an opportunity for we take our sophomores, so our sophomores had the opportunity as we were getting into scheduling season just to see what different programs are offered to our students. So we took all of our sophomores, and that was a good opportunity for them, and Plymouth did a really good job with that program. November 25th and 26th, I had the opportunity to attend the principals conference, so I appreciate the board and Mr. Riffle allowing me to do that. Tom, you as well. Just a good opportunity to go and network and see what's going on across the state. I was hoping to hear more about the new graduation requirements, and there wasn't a lot being shared at that time, but what I did find out is apparently those are being released this week, so December 11th is when they're supposed to be released. So we'll be looking forward to seeing what those have in store for us. So, and I'll try and report back to the board and in a future meeting. Let's see here. Scheduling is underway for next school year. I think as of right now, we have all juniors, current juniors, sophomores, and freshmen scheduled for next year. We put the pause on I guess, incoming freshmen or current 8th graders until we know what those graduation requirements are. That is the class that it's going to impact, so we've paused until we know more. I would like to recognize just some students that are a part of a Purdue Ignite program. That's something new that we've been invited to take part in this year. But it's basically a hands-on manufacturing job shadowing experience that several of our students were invited to participate in. And those students were Owen Weymouth, Darren King, Nick Yoder, Wesley Reynolds, and Travis Barnhart. So I think that was a really neat program that was offered to our students. I'd also like to report out that our 2024 graduation rate has been I guess I wouldn't say announced, but I was able to look it up today, and it was a 98.41% graduation rate. We had one student that did not graduate high school, whether it was from here or transferred somewhere else, but still a really, really good graduation rate. Just some upcoming events that I'll mention. December 16th is our staff Christmas dinner. We're having that at the Brass Rail. And then exams start December. We have exams for December 19th and 20th for this semester. So hard to believe that the second semester is almost, or first semester is almost over. So that's what I have.
Thank you. If there's no other business to report, we will move to adjourn at 7:29.